A girl named Chantelle lived in a small village with her parents. Chantelle was a very beautiful girl. She caught the eye of every young man in her village. It took her parents 7 years before she was born. At a young age, men would come to seek her hand in marriage, but the parents would often refuse as she was so young. On seeing this, Agatha's friend Martha was so angry as none of her 3 daughters were married because no suitor would come their way. Agatha is Chantelle's mother. Martha has been her friend since they were teenagers. Chantelle is a very brilliant girl. She is a kind-hearted woman. When Chantelle finished her high school, she sought to go further in her education. She would always make her parents proud of her. Her parents was ready to see her throughout her education in university level. Chantelle was making preparations to go to the city to further her education. One night before her departure, tragedy struck. Chantelle's parents passed away on their bed. Chantelle went in the morning to their room to wake them up, but unfortunately they were dead. Chantelle cried her eyes out. She was so lonely in her house. She would always sit outside her house and would always cry slowly. Chantelle went to her mother's best friend Martha for her assistance. Martha threw her away, saying she killed her parents. Chantelle left disappointed. Martha was very happy seeing Chantelle shattered. She was very glad that her parents is dead. She said to herself, "Let me see how she will go to the university and compete with my beautiful daughters. Now men will be whooping in asking for all my beautiful daughters who are graduates for their hand in marriage." Meanwhile, her daughters on the other hand would sleep around with different men for peanuts in the village. Sometimes they won't even sleep at home. Chantelle wanted to make a living for herself. She started making bean cakes, akara, and selling them. People always love her bean cake, akara, because she makes it very well. On seeing Chantelle's success, Martha was angry and hell-bent on destroying Chantelle's success. One morning as Chantelle was about to start frying her bean cake, akara, some people were already waiting around for her to start. A charm fell off her bag. People standing there was very shocked. They humiliated her and said all kinds of horrible things to her. One person said to her, "So you have been using charms to sell your bean cake, akara, to make it taste sweet. You have been exposed today." Chantelle was sit on the floor crying, explaining that she didn't know about, but no one paid heed. Chantelle didn't know what to do again. She gathered all she had saved and set for the city. Martha was so happy for Chantelle's downfall. On getting to the city, Chantelle was carrying a box walking down the streets. She didn't know where to start from. As she was walking helplessly on the streets, a man came at a point she was on, snatched her bag from her. Chantelle kept calling for help, but no one answered. She walked helplessly on the street crying. A woman stopped her and asked why she was crying. Chantelle narrated the whole ordeal to her. The woman took pity on her and decided to help her. The woman brought Chantelle to her house. Chantelle was so happy and thanked her for her help. The woman was a widow. She lost her only daughter in an accident. Since then she has been alone. She took Chantelle in and made her a daughter she had lost. Chantelle started hustling in the streets. She did all kinds of menial jobs. She sold oranges, sold sachet water, banana, and a whole lot of things. The woman loved Chantelle so much because she was hardworking and so lovely. She did all the house chores and still find the time to hustle. Chantelle did this for many years and saved up some money to see herself through school. Chantelle graduated from the university. Luckily for her, she found a job in a big company as an accountant. She worked diligently and would always put her work first above. There she caught the eye of her boss Francis. Francis was the CEO of the company Chantelle worked in. Francis saw how brilliant and hard-working Chantelle was. He fell for her. He promoted Chantelle from being an accountant to being the managing director of the company. Chantelle was so happy they held a party in her honor. There Francis approached her. He told her how impressed he was. Chantelle was just smiling, admiring his boss. She was so proud that a handsome man like that would recognize her. Chantelle shared her joy with her foster mother, Mrs. Bridget. Mrs. Bridget was so happy for her. There Chantelle told her, "I think I might be falling in love with someone." Bridget asked her who he was. She answered, "I think it's with my boss. He was so handsome and seemed like a gentleman." Bridget was so happy that's her. Daughter has found love. Back in the village matters, two daughters got pregnant at the same time, while one of them contracted a dangerous STDs and died. Martha was shattered on how her children turned out. But destiny hasn't started yet with her. Back in the city, Chantelle and Francis started hanging out together. Few months later, Francis proposed Chantelle. She was so happy that she took the ring. They started making plans for their marriage. They drove to Chantelle's village to inform her people of their intentions to get married. Martha saw this and was very angry. She went to get another charm to destroy Chantelle's happiness. This time she wanted to kill her. She was making incantations when thunder and lightning struck her. She fell to the ground unable to move. She asked some people to take her to Chantelle's place that she wants to confess. She was brought to Chantelle's place. There she confessed of killing Chantelle's parents, and making Chantelle's life miserable, and by plotting the charm at Chantelle's bag, making the villagers accuse her. She tried killing Chantelle to stop her marriage. When she got struck by thunder, Chantelle was heartbroken. She asked for her to be taken away from her sight as she don't know what to say to her. Few days later, Chantelle got married to Francis. Martha, on her deathbed, died slowly and painfully, with no one, not even her children, by her side. Moral lesson: always be good to people, for karma is real. It will always come to haunt you.
Please stay tuned to my next video. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share.